who's 6'5", 247 pounds, moves like 170 pounds. It's crazy. He's bouncing like Wonder Boy, like bouncing like this the entire fight, bouncing, throwing feints, like completely changed the standard of heavyweight striking, and I'm not exaggerating.
Ciryl Gane is a fantastic striker. He's one of the most beautiful strikers in the heavyweight division. He does wild stuff. You ever see how he throws that front kick from a side stance? He throws it like a twisting kick. He stands like southpaw, right? And he bobs around like this. And he's totally sideways, and he twists his foot out like a twisting kick. He did a lot of them against Tai Tuivasa. He's so fast, man. He just does this weird thing where he stands sideways, and instead of the front kick going like this, like straight out, the front kick goes like this. So
I know. Okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
So his knee when he lands is almost like sideways. It's just so unusual for a heavyweight, that kind of movement. He'll show it totally sideways.
It's a little trick.
Almost like a crescent kick or something like that.
With his interim title fight against Tom Aspinall just around the corner, this training clip has completely shifted the conversation. Those who had already written Gane off are now second-guessing themselves. Because whether you're a diehard Aspinall supporter or a Gane believer, it's impossible to ignore just how sharp, clean, and dangerous Gane is looking right
of a
now.
third undisputed title shot attempt. I mean, it's either him or Covington. This making it his third title shot within his last 6 fights. You Gane and you Saint in it. Not just that, but also ducked Aspinall multiple times for years prior. Oh, it doesn't make sense to fight Aspinall, but now it does when there's a title on the line. I mean, maybe I've been judging him a bit too harshly. No wonder Justin Gaethje thinks he's entitled to a third title shot when he's watching this fraud get given to him like the UFC are offering him Tic Tacs or snails. And even since his last title attempt where he was the reason Jon Jones became heavyweight champion in the first place. He had beaten Sergey Spivak, robbed Volkov, where Dana White even said he robbed Volkov and said he'd do Volkov good, whilst making Volkov have a title elimination bout on the same card where they've gifted Gane another title shot. I'm starting to think the only merit I can find in this run for him to earn a title shot isn't even any fights, but maybe the random movie he filmed.
That's why Chandler's struggling. It's a bad fight IQ. It's weird because he's obviously a really fit guy, but if you do a sprint for 5 minutes, no one's going to be fit, are they? He just goes out there, he throws from here, swinging, everything he does is picking up full blast. It's mad for someone who has that many fights. I'm just surprised. There you go. I was watching him thinking there's no way Paddy loses to this guy. I know a lot of people were saying online he's a tough fight for Paddy. I thought easy fight for Paddy. And it was pretty easy. So what did Chandler say? Didn't that big goober say this like 3 years ago? And then waited as long for Jon as I did for Conor? No, nowhere near. It was about a year. You waited for 3 years. Your bloodline ends with you, dude. No one gives a fuck about you. You'll be forgotten to the end.
Let's set the stage. Ciryl Gane is one of the most technical strikers the heavyweight division has ever seen. Light on his feet, surgical with his jab, and capable of creating angles most heavyweights simply can't. But he's also a fighter carrying baggage. His last big moment came against Jon Jones, the very man Tom Aspinall has been calling out for over a year, and it ended in disaster when Jones took him down and submitted him in the first round, sparking endless questions about whether Gane could ever handle elite grapplers. That loss stung even more because Jones was the fighter Aspinall had been publicly targeting. And Aspinall has built his reputation on being able to beat anyone. Strikers,
Aspinall is the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. What's the first step for him?
Given the number one contender, Ciryl Gane. Ciryl Gane is somebody that's big heavyweight, that's very agile. I don't think Tom Aspinall gets rid of him right away like he has with other people. And I think that'll be a big indication if Jon Jones wants to come back and reclaim that bout once again.
I think you're absolutely right. Fight that makes sense. Tom Aspinall, Ciryl Gane. Let's make that happen. Ciryl Gane is... People forget how fantastic he is. A guy that can kind of float around the octagon, touch you, kick you, hit you with elbow. He's just a complete game. But man, Tom's movement, his boxing, speed, and his power. It's very, very difficult to doubt this man.
Fans were quick to point out that if Jones could run through Gane so easily, what hope would he have against Aspinall? But Gane's new footage is making people rethink that narrative in these sparring clips. He's gliding across the mat, landing crisp combinations, mixing body shots with head strikes, and moving with a speed and fluidity rarely seen in the heavyweight division. He's not just looking sharp, he's looking hungry. So how does Gane actually beat Aspinall? It comes down to control and patience. Aspinall thrives when he can explode early with fast takedowns, quick entries, and overwhelming pressure. But if Gane can stay on the outside, force Aspinall to chase, and punish every mistake with his precise counters, the entire fight dynamic could shift.
Champion of the world, the pride of Wigan, the one and only Tommy Aspinall, Tommy Aspinall, Tommy Aspinall, Tommy, defending his undisputed gold, technically for the very first time against the pride of France, the French prince himself, Bon Gamin himself, the one and only Ciryl Gane. These two have been going back and forth for the better part of 2, maybe 3 years. Well, this was the fight that we all thought was going to happen in Tom's official first title defense, and so it is in fact going to happen. Tom wanted to fight in Abu Dhabi. That was the sense that we got when he became undisputed champion. He didn't want to wait for New York. Let's be honest, the tax is a little better over there in Abu Dhabi compared to New York for an Englishman, for anyone, if we're being 100% honest. And so he wanted to be active. He wanted to fight in October. He wanted to fight in Abu Dhabi. It's closer to home, and so they obliged. And you'll recall a few weeks ago I said, it's looking like Magomed and Alex, October 4th. It's looking like Tom versus Ciryl, October 25th. And it's looking like JDM versus Islam in New York. That would be the next pay-per-view. Now, that hasn't been officially announced. That hasn't been signed, sealed, and delivered. But at this point, I would be surprised, considering how the chips just fell earlier today. I would be surprised if it doesn't play out that way.
Imagine if Ciryl Gane beats Tom Aspinall. So it was announced that Tom's first title defense as the undisputed champion will be against former interim champ Ciryl Gane. And although me and many others are siding with Tom, we also can't forget that this is the heavyweight division and one shot to change it all. So imagine after everything that happened at heavyweight, Ciryl Gane captures the undisputed belt. But more importantly, how would that affect Jon Jones' legacy? Because you know that if Ciryl beats Tom, Jon will use MMA math to show everyone why he never had to fight Tom since he defeated Ciryl so easily. Even if Tom wins but has a tough time in doing it, Jon will still be at it. Personally, I don't think this changes the fact that Jon was ducking Tom as he saw him as a dangerous matchup.
He wants to fight him, so you can understand a little bit of shit talk there in Tom's nice, kind of respectful fashion without, lowering himself and losing his temper and just using facts to talk shit realistically. And he was in Paris, by the way, because I met up with him and his dad. But he fought Ngannou for the belt. Then he fought Jones for the belt. And now he's fighting Tom for the belt. He's certainly getting the opportunities.
Yeah, and Tom's right. I mean, if Ciryl goes out there and loses to Tom this time around, it's tough, as we know, to go and get that fourth title shot after something like this when you drop them like that. It's definitely a must-win situation if he wants to be the champion. Now, it's not a must-win situation in terms of his career. He's not going anywhere as long as he wants to fight. But if you want to be champ, man, especially with a guy like Tom, where you don't beat him now, there's probably not a good chance that you're going to be getting back to that one anytime soon.
Well, in terms of the matchup, they're both big men, similar sizes, both athletic, very athletic. They're fast, the pair of them. They're both very coordinated. I think if I had to give an advantage to Ciryl, it'd be in the, maybe in the movement. Maybe he's a little slicker on the feet, but he's not as powerful as Tom. And Tom's certainly slick, as we know. But the wrestling, the grappling side of things, it's not even a conversation. It's not a conversation. So Tom should be able to take him down if he chooses to. So if Ciryl Gane isn't training in Dagestan for 2-3 months, years, days, weeks.
Or Arkansas.
Or Arkansas, brother.
Hey,
if he ain't
go down there with brass.
Get up there with brass. If he's not just solely working on his grappling, then he's a fool. Yeah. And by the way, Tom's probably got bigger power. Tom might just knock him out on his feet as well. And I'm not saying that Ciryl can't be a force and Ciryl can't compete and Ciryl can't surprise us all, because he can. And Tom knows that. That's why he'll train accordingly. But the grappling is a big question mark.
Big question mark. And I think if we're talking about their styles too, I think the one thing that you can give Ciryl, other than maybe his unorthodox movement, the way he switches stances quite a bit, he kicks more He uses a bit more tools, whereas Tom can kick. He can do it all, no doubt about it. He can knee and all of that. But I think that primarily
devastating kicks, his ability to strike from awkward angles, and his knack for slipping away from big shots, and you start to see how he could flip the script. Of course, Aspinall remains the favorite for a reason. He's younger, faster, and his seamless blend of striking and grappling makes him one of the most dangerous fighters in the UFC today.
Similar age as well. You can both come through, right? Well, he's a tiny bit older than you, isn't he?
I think he's a little bit older, and he has a couple more, or at least he started his career in the UFC a little bit earlier than I did. I was trying to fight him because he was like kind of just a little bit above me all the time. Fight never materialised. He turned me down a couple of times, to be honest. This could be the fastest, best moving heavyweight fight that anybody's ever seen. We're both great movers, we're both light on our feet, we're both elusive. Both me and Ciryl have niche style for heavyweights. We don't fight like heavyweights, both of us. So,
what are your thoughts on Ciryl Gane being potentially the toughest opponent yet for you? A lot of people say somebody you've not really sort of faced that type of fighter in the heavyweight division.
I think both me and Ciryl are we both have niche style for heavyweights. We don't fight like heavyweights, both of us. So this could be the fastest, the best moving heavyweight fight that anybody's ever seen. We're both great movers, we're both light on our feet, we're both elusive. So this is going to be great. And by the way, all this stuff that I've just said previously, we actually made a video this time last year, a little bit longer, when we found out that Manchester was going to come and there was going to be an event in Manchester. When I thought I was fighting Ciryl Gane, but he declined it, we made a video there over a year ago now. And if you don't believe me, if you don't believe it on the timeline, look, got my teeth done now. Look at the old video. Now zoom in on them.
Hold on.
Got my teeth done.
Let me get right in there.
Got the teeth done now. When I did this video, this was over a year ago. Didn't have my teeth done then, so.
All of them are by finish. Gane is the #1 ranked heavyweight.
Now, when you look at the UFC heavyweight ranking, as I say, Tom has beat most of them, and he's beat them in style, and he's knocked them all out. Curtis Blade, Sergey Pavlovich, Alexander Volkov, whoever they are, he's beaten them all up. But Ciryl Gane is a little bit different. Now, of course, Jon Jones beat Ciryl Gane in quick fashion, took him down in the first round, submitted him with a front choke. Ciryl Gane is the same as Tom Aspinall in terms of athletic ability. When I say that Tom Aspinall is a heavyweight George St. Pierre, that kind of goes to Ciryl Gane as well. The man's gigantic. He's very quick. He's agile. He's light on his feet. He could run any sport on the planet. And he's almost like George St. Pierre and Tom Aspinall in the fact that he's got all those athletic attributes and qualities, but he doesn't have the grappling. That's what cost him against Jon Jones, and that's probably what's going to cost him against Tom Aspinall. You never know. He could clip him. This is a dangerous fight. This is heavyweight MMA, but Tom Aspinall can grapple. We've seen him take people down. He's done jiu-jitsu since he was about 15 years old. His dad is going to be on his case, and that's an absolute fact. Saying, hey, you're not messing with this guy. Take him down, show him what you can do, show the world your grappling capability. Remember, Ciryl Gane turned Francis Ngannou into a wrestler, okay? So he's a very, very credible threat on the feet. But of course, I do fancy Tom Aspinall to get the job done. The fact that he isn't fighting Jon Jones is insane, but we've talked about that till the cows come home, so I'm not going to bore you on that subject anymore. But just you wait. Jon Jones is probably going to pop up on Twitter.
Who's next big heavyweight star?
Tom Aspinall, the guy who just won the interim title. He's phenomenal. And he is, again, the next the next advancement of the evolution of the sport.
How so?
Well, because he can do everything. That guy's got elite jiu-jitsu. He's got elite takedowns. His striking is outstanding. Like, I've seen a lot of heavyweight, even Francis, who's like the greatest, scariest power striker I've ever seen in the heavyweight division. No one's scarier than Francis. Francis does not move like Tom Aspinall. Tom Aspinall is significantly faster than every other heavyweight. That's a real problem because he's a heavyweight and he's a big guy, a really big guy, but he moves so fast. And so his speed has always been like extraordinary compared to other heavyweights. He just moves in. It's all like fast, explosive movements. So he's got natural speed, but then he's also got a lot of training to execute quickly. So when he moves in, he closes the gap. You can see like he's fast for a big guy.
Right. I want to see it so bad.
John was shitting all over Aspinall, saying that
I think that's a bad way to go.
He was lucky that he blew his knee out with Curtis Blades because Curtis was teeing off on him. Unless John avoided him, unless John used his wrestling to avoid exchanges, you know what that's all about.
Correct.
It's called the shop shutdown.
Shop shutdown.
No, 7-part
They did with Cyborg.
Yeah. The Stipe fight was just like, it's a weird thing.
Aspinall's an athlete, man. He's such a good athlete.
Freak out.
Very fast. Very fast for a heavyweight.
So fast.
Yeah, but we felt the same way about Ciryl Gane.
Yeah, but Ciryl Gane doesn't have wrestling, doesn't have jiu-jitsu. Aspinall's like legit on the ground, very legit on the ground.
So legit that his dad owns a jiu-jitsu gym. His dad's a black belt. He started doing jiu-jitsu at 2.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how Aspinall is past the first round, right? Because he looks so fast. You're like, nobody moves like him. He looks like a younger Kane.
Right.
But he just keeps knocking these guys out so quick. So I'm like, let me see him past the first round and see if he has that cardio as well.
It's a bit of a problem for him, right? Because he has not been tested in that way. And, you know, you're getting up to elite status where you're calling out Jon Jones.
Many people believe right now the single most dangerous person on planet Earth. What would you do if I misjudge a question?
Nothing. I do absolutely. I just fight for money. That's all I'm interested in. Money and to be the best fighter in the world. I'm not interested in punching anybody.
You had a gentle handshake. I mean, nothing too intimidating. You didn't try and break my arm.
No, I don't have anything to prove.
Tom Aspinall, other than the heavyweight title, is kind of his aura now. When the greatest of all time won't even step in a cage with you, it builds up who you are, right? And you have that fear factor. If the guy who everyone was scared of is scared of him, how fucking good is Tom Aspinall? Very good is the answer. It's funny because in all of the posturing that Jon did and the tweeting and the interviews, I don't care, I don't want to fight him, he doesn't do anything for it. All of that hoping that we witnessed where he was trying to say everything he could to make himself feel better about not wanting to fight this guy and telling us all how unbothered he was in fighting Tom Aspinall showed exactly how bothered he was. Because Jon Jones, like, you know, even though he thinks he's smart, he's a child, right? And he doesn't realise in all of that coping, we can read him like a fucking book. And all he's done is kind of promoted Tom Aspinall for an entire year.
Silent assassin of the heavyweight division.
Well, then why didn't he fight? If John's not scared, and we believe that, and it wasn't about money, then how do we interpret the refusal of doing it?
Do you think Aspinall's the most dangerous fighter in the division?
I think so, yes, right now. Sure, he proved it. He proved it in this.
He's finished elite opponents in seconds, and his fight IQ is miles ahead of most heavyweights, but that's exactly what makes this matchup so intriguing. We've never truly seen Aspinall pushed into the later rounds against someone who can match his speed and outthink him on the feet. That's where Joe Rogan's perspective comes in. Rogan has praised Gane for years, calling him one of the most athletic heavyweights in history and a nightmare to deal with if you can't take him down. While Rogan acknowledges that Gane's ground defense remains his Achilles heel, he also emphasizes that Gane's striking is on another level compared to most of the division. If this fight stays standing for extended periods, Aspinall could find himself in unfamiliar territories, so make sure to subscribe to my channel for more updates and news.